Welcome to the Vine Resources Podcast Show with your host, David Lawrence.
Welcome to another edition of the Vine Resources Podcast Show. I'm absolutely delighted today to have with me the founder and CEO of Clyde, Gell. Brandon, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, David.
Brandon, why don't you and thanks for joining me, by the way, why don't you share with our listeners in a few minutes just a little bit about the company, what you do, and what the organization is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Clyde essentially enables businesses to instantly get up and running with an extended warranty product protection program across all 50 states in the US. And we do that by building really intuitive and powerful technology to actually run a program, which is super complicated if you think about having to interact with multiple insurance providers, different e-commerce platforms, different ways that customers shop. Mm-hmm. And then we build partnerships with insurance companies and administrators to be able to actually deliver that service to an end customer.
And
that's
it
in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I was going to say, is there a consistent flow of how that looks between different platforms, or is it as easy as that, or I'm sure there's a lot more work behind the scenes?
Yeah, so I mean, the way that it looks to a customer is it's a really simple purchasing process. There is the opportunity to add coverage throughout your purchasing journey, either on the actual page that the product lives on, or in the cart, or after the fact. Clyde manages all of that for our retail partners and for the consumers. But to the consumer, it's just adding it. In the background, we're doing a lot of interesting things around pricing, around managing insurance partners, and around matching products to contracts. But to the consumer, it's a really simple experience.
And how did you come up with the idea for the business?
Yeah. So it was a really organic founding story. I was working for a company out in Columbus, Ohio, as a Venture for America fellow called Knockout Concepts. And we were trying to figure out our sales channels. And I got started on a project building a Shopify website, integrating with Affirm, integrating with Stripe. And we had this side project, which was we were trying to get feedback from an insurance company on how to actually offer insurance to our customers. It was something that they were asking for because it was a fairly expensive product that we were building. And I just could not get an insurance company on the phone. No one would talk to me. And it felt like all my emails were going to inboxes that weren't looked at, and the phone calls were going to voicemails that were never listened to. And I ultimately was trying to figure out why this was such a challenge when I had pretty much instantly got up and running with Affirm. And it felt like a really similar type of solution. So, that's what planted the initial seed.
And I know, for example, one of the pictures, one of the images on your website or on your LinkedIn for those who can't see this, is a picture of a Bose headset. And I know, for example, I've lost headsets on an aeroplane. I was curious to know what's those top products that people tend to come to insure, to protect, I should say.
Yeah. So I mean, headphones are a great example. We have about a 30% attachment with headphones. But it's really, we focus on consumer electronics, offering accidental damage to consumers there. And then on appliances and furniture. For appliances and furniture, it will typically be an extended warranty. That's the type of thing that you want to have for a very long time. And the manufacturer's warranty on products like that aren't ever that great. So what we do is we extend that for a pretty long amount of time. And we do this for all different types of businesses. We do it for small local mom and pop shops that might be physical locations, to Shopify websites that are just getting up and running, to billion-dollar enterprises that are built on their own platforms.
Amazing. Now, I think you're 17 people in the business and growing quickly. I think you said scaling up quite fast and almost double that. Mainly based out of New York, is that right?
Yeah, so we're based out of New York right now. We work out of Soho, and we are definitely going to be going in the direction of a distributed team with this next phase of hiring with our Series A.
Fantastic.
I think up until then it's been challenged. We've wanted to have everyone in the same place, but we're ready for that, which is super exciting for us.
Brilliant. Well, look, we're going to jump into some of the questions if that's all right.
Yep.
So tell me this, Brendan, what does a typical day look like in the business for you as the leader?
Yeah, I think it depends on where the business is at. I can tell you over the past few months, it has been pretty much 100% fundraising for me. So in and out of calls, in and out of the office. It's really a time in which I have to rely on the leaders within the company to actually run the business. And now that we're sort of on the other side of that, my day is typically about 60% recruiting and hiring, 30% sales. I consider myself one of the most impactful BDRs on the team. That's a main part of my job. Just making sure that I'm enabling the sales team and giving them great leads. And then about 10% product, especially as we begin to look for a product lead.
Fantastic. Is there anyone, you've obviously grown this business, you've done amazing so far in growing this business to where you've got it, but who's had an impact on you as a leader, and how have they helped and supported you?
Yeah. So I've mentioned this guy a couple times, so I hope he's not freaked out that I keep mentioning him. But the founder of Webflow, his name is Vlad Magdalene. He, I've heard him speak a couple times. I've met with him a couple times, and I think the company and the product that he's built is one of the best products I've ever used, and I've been a user for more than 5 years.
Why is that?
And the team Why have I been a user for 5 years?
Oh no! Why is it the best product?
Well, it's extraordinarily powerful. Are you familiar with Webflow?
I'm not actually. No, I'll look it up after.
Okay,
this.
so it's a way of building websites, and it's a drag and drop tool, but it opens up functionality for all HTML, CSS. That tool actually taught me how to write code, how to write front end HTML and CSS without ever actually writing it. So, the way that they've structured their entire product is based off of the foundation of how HTML and CSS work. You don't actually have to write the code. It's all built into a UI. But it's just a phenomenal product, and their support team is fantastic. And their culture is really strong. So, I don't know Vlad that well explicitly, but I've seen what he's been able to build and how he's been able to build a team around that product. And that for me is really inspiring.
Fantastic. Now, what are you doing from the top to keep your own employees engaged?
Yeah, I think that so engagement is a really interesting thing. Obviously, there's engagement from just making sure people are doing the mission that they're on at the company, but also engagement around making sure they're pushing the company forward in a way that evolves us. So that's a great question. I mean, my mind goes back to an exercise that we ran just last Friday, and we do pretty regularly with the team. I do it with myself pretty often, which is having people choose 3 things that they get to spend all their time doing, and then assign percentages to those things out of 100. Just like I told you, I'm 60% recruiting, 30% sales, and 10% product. We actually do that across the entire team. So everyone will do that. And if it doesn't fit in with our North Star, we need to reconsider what people are putting their focus into. And after they do that, so they do it twice. It's both for how do you want to spend your time personally? Like, where will you get satisfaction? And then where do you think the company needs you most based off of your skill set? And then my goal and my leadership team, our goal is to get that to be equal for the people that are working at Clyde. So I think that's a pretty good way of getting people engaged, because it it has them controlling the work that they're doing, but also recognizing that sometimes there's stuff that needs to get done that isn't perfect for someone's fit.
Now, normally I'd ask this question, and there might be a different, a usual answer, but I'm curious to hear what today, as we record this in early 2020, what do you believe is the biggest challenge facing business leaders today?
Yeah, I feel like today is such a keyword there, and my answer certainly would have been different if you asked me this a week ago. But today, I think the biggest challenge facing business leaders across the world is coronavirus and how you can be really health conscious of your team and of society, but also continue to move your business forward. So we just made the decision to have everyone work from home. Not a surprise. Companies across New York are doing that. We were maybe even a little late to it. But how do you instantly go from a business that has employees that interact with each other face to face every day to doing it all over video? I think that is an incredible challenge. It's also a really cool opportunity. And I think it's going to lead a lot of businesses to, I think it will lead a lot of very big businesses to ask themselves, why do we have an office?
Yeah, totally.
So it'll be interesting to see how things change. And then obviously looped into that is the market and making sure business leaders are cash is king right now, making sure that they have enough money to get through what is destined to be really uncertain times.
And just on that note, just going forward on that challenge there, how do you see that impacting that onboarding process for new hires, particularly those hires that may need to be, really close interacting with people where it might not be as easy on video every day?
Yeah, I think it's making me reevaluate how necessary it is to have someone in New York. I know that is going to be beneficial for our team long term, because New York is an extraordinary expensive place, and there are certainly extraordinarily smart people that are not New York. So to confine ourselves here would be a mistake. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see over the next few months.
For sure. What's the best piece of business advice you've ever been given?
That's a good question. I think it almost goes back to when I was initially fundraising for our seed, which was you need to build the best case for yourself when you're out in fundraising or you're making a decision, and surrounding yourself with people that enable you to actually do that is the most important thing. So, I mentioned earlier that 60% of my time right now is on recruiting and hiring. That's because I was given advice a while back that I wholeheartedly believe, which is that in order to build a good business, you need to have incredible people working around you. So I mean, that's probably the best advice that I've ever gotten.
What's exciting you right now in your industry?
Yeah, it is the simple fact that we are going up against large incumbents in the space that are incapable of building what we've built. It provides a lot of opportunity for us. I think the other thing that's interesting in our space is when people think about insurance, they're not psyched. You don't go into the street and ask somebody like, how excited are you about insurance? I think in our minds, that's a pretty big opportunity to write our own narrative. And I think the way that we do that is through really delightful, intuitive design. I studied architecture actually in school, and design, UX, UI, the customer experience is the number one thing that we think about. And I think that in the industry that we are in, that flips the script. So I'm really excited about that because I think both for incumbents and competitors, we are absolutely leading the charge there.
And just it's a great point, but you said that about the incumbents. Is that more from because clearly it's not from a technology standpoint, but it might be from an appetite for change within an organization that is not so quick to change. Is that what you mean, or what do you mean of those incumbents?
I mean it. Yeah, I mean it from a technology standpoint, just in the sense that like most of our most incumbents in the space can't actually build what we've built,
Right.
and it's not necessarily because they don't have the technical ability. It's because it really comes from resources.
Mhm.
Our incumbents are focused extraordinarily up market, which leaves greenfield opportunity for us in the mid market. And the mid market is larger than the top of the market. So, there's a technology opportunity there, absolutely, and driving cost of doing business down through technology.
What's I know we touched on this a little bit around your team, your people, but what ways do you help your employees improve their well-being?
Yeah, so there's two things that come to mind here. The first one is just purely, it's a softie, but it's purely around culture.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an incredible sense of transparency and being communicative throughout the company. So, I think that's part of why we wanted a lot of the team to be in one place early on. And that's led to fantastic communication throughout the company and interdepartmental. So that's radical transparency is I think definitely leads to well-being, because people know exactly what's going on at the company with leadership, with our fundraising, with how the company is performing. And it makes sure that everyone is a part of our narrative, in addition to them being actual owners of the company. And then there's some auxiliary things that we do. So we have unlimited paid time off. We actually require our employees to take a certain amount of time off. And then we work with a business called Vacation Fund to actually match a portion of our employees. So our employees put money away for a vacation. We match a certain portion of it, and we actually help pay for a vacation that they've been wanting to go on. So we're really big fans of making sure that people tune out, because we've built a culture of when people are in working, they're really tuned in. And we feel passionately about, like, there can't be something in the middle there.
Mm-hmm. Is it now? I'm going to ask you about your childhood a little bit, but is there a story from your childhood that you could share with us that may have influenced your work ethic in later life?
Yeah. I think childhood is a little tough. I mean, with regard to childhood, I immediately think about my father. Incredibly hardworking guy, doing commercial real estate in New York City, working very long hours, the type of thing that, it's not explicitly salaried. He was only able to take home what it is that he actually won. It's sort of, you eat what you kill. And I witnessed him, leaving early in the morning, coming home late at night. And while I maybe didn't explicitly understand what was going on when I was, 8, 9, 10, seeing that happen, I think subconsciously I was understanding, my dad was going to work and he was working really, really hard. I think later in life, throughout high school and then going to college, my parents are really encouraging me, because I showed a propensity to want to use my hands to build things, physical things. That's why I got into architecture. I built a house at school. I built a school bus. I renovated a school bus. I did a bunch of projects that were very hands-on. And my parents were, when I was growing up, I was super into model building and rocketry. And they were incredibly supportive of that. So I think, I'm not sure where like a really intense work ethic comes from, but I do know that I really enjoy what I do, and I enjoy working hard because I enjoy what I do, and that's what has led me, I think, right now to having a really strong work ethic. I think if I was doing something that I didn't enjoy, it would be really tough. My mom always tells a story of me really struggling to learn colors. She would point to red and I'd yell out green, because I just didn't care. But then the moment I cared about colors, I learned it, really quickly. And it's a blessing and a curse to want to learn like that. but it leads me to having a good work ethic with things that I really enjoy.
Brandon, what do you think your industry is going to look like in 3 to 5 years time, and how might that impact your business model?
Yeah, so I think on a more macroeconomic level, I think e-commerce is going to continue to be to grow exponentially. It grew percent in 2019. I think it'll be more than that this next year, especially with what's going on with COVID-19. People are just going to be less willing to go shop in person. Mm-hmm. So I think, macroeconomically in 2019, we'll see a decrease in spend, but more of it being online. And I think direct to consumer is something that is totally king right now. I think Shopify will be the best stock of 2020. And I think what they're doing to empower entrepreneurs is amazing.
Fantastic. Is that a stock tip there?
Yes, not technically. don't take my word for it, but no, I'm definitely an investor in Shopify, and I feel really passionately about their mission. So I think e-commerce and direct to consumer are going to completely transform over the next 5 years, and I think that there'll be more and more businesses that pop up that are supporting individual e-commerce companies to be able to compete with Amazon. And I think we'll be one of many.
If you had your time again and were giving your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, what would you now say to yourself looking back?
Well, I'm only 26, so
not long ago.
Not long ago. I don't know, man. I think I would definitely encourage the direction that I was on at 20, which was around exploring the things that I was super interested in. I think more tactically, I would tell myself to get a little bit more into coding. I think that was one of those things, kind of like colors when I was growing up that I wasn't that interested in. It was tough for me to learn, and I kind of just, went back to the thing that I knew that I was good at, which was, building physical things. Even though I have I understand code, but now I'm at a point that I can't write it. And I think that being able to do that would be something that I will certainly learn how to do at one point, but would have been helpful in getting something off the ground. The other thing I would have, advice that I would have given myself back then is that the team that I have around me, which is fantastic right now, and I've really lucked out with that, is the most important thing. So hiring amazing people is the best thing that you can do, and super challenging in an early stage business, which is kudos to all the people that joined Clyde, before we had raised our seed round and after we raised our seed round, because it's still not a sure thing.
No, and that's amazing. Brandon, what's the best way if people want to reach out to you, find out more about the company, connect with you? How can they do that?
So first of all, check out our website, joinclyde.com. There's an About Us section there. You can read about us. There's careers up there that we're about to be adding a ton of different careers to that page. And then if everyone wants to reach out to me directly, it's b@joinclyde.com. I'm an open book, and I'd be happy to chat.
Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with the business over in New York.
Yeah, thank you so much, David.
We really hope you enjoyed the podcast today. If you want to listen to more exclusive tips and life lessons from our guest, go to the resources page at vineresources.com.